Welcome to the Fantasy Forecast Injury Show. It is week 15, and you are watching this, and that means only one thing. You are in the playoffs, and you need our help. I am Dr. Biggs. He is Nurse Greinberg, and we are here. We're missing Dr. Marcus, PT. He is doing other stuff today. He's probably like fixing some NFL player's hamstring or something like that. I bet that's what he's doing. But we got some injury news to get to. The thing about the playoffs is that you got a lot of really good guys in your lineups, and if you're watching an injury show during the Week 15 playoffs, chances are there are going to be some impactful players who are missing the games. Like CMC and Jordan Mason went out, and Isaac Guerrero has picked up the slack. There are other iterations of this idea around the league, and we're here to give you the ones that matter for this week. So, you ready, Greinberg?
I'm ready, man. It's week one of the fantasy playoffs. In most leagues, we talked about that yesterday on our start and sit show. So I did that without screwing up there, Biggs. You like that? I said start and sit.
You're on a roll, buddy.
I'm on a roll. Let's keep it going. So yeah, we identified some good sits, some good starts, and today we're going to talk about the injuries. And got word that David Njoku didn't practice. Doesn't look like he's going to be playing this week. If he's out, who should fantasy managers look up to pick up the pieces here this week, Biggs? They got a tough matchup against the Chiefs and Cedric Tillman, who's also, limited in practice due to that concussion. They're hopeful that he returns. So tell us about the Browns and how you're attacking that wide receiver room this week.
Well, first of all, David Njoku is going to try and play. He's not out at this point. If David Njoku is in, you have to play him. Cedric Tillman is not in. One of the things that we know about Jerry Jeudy is that when Cedric Tillman is out, Jerry Jeudy usually has a big game. If Njoku is out, Elijah Moore is going to have a better game. So watch that, Njoku versus Elijah Moore. If Njoku's in, sit Elijah Moore. If Njoku's out, sit or start Elijah Moore. But if you want a desperate play, if you're in a really deep league, if you're just desperate, I got a name for you. That name is Jamari Thrash. Okay, so Jamari Thrash, rookie wide receiver for the Cleveland Browns. He's had an increase in target share since Cedric Tillman has been out. I think he had 2 targets the last time he played. He had an injury designation. Today that was cleared up. Now, here's the thing about Jamari Thrash. Jamari Thrash is in a terrible situation on a bad team. But when I ran my analysis on the 24 rookie wide receiver class, Jamari Thrash was up there in the top 6 with Ladd McConkey, with Malik Neighbors, with Marvin Harrison Jr. The dude can play, and if he gets an opportunity, he's going to flash. I can't say that's this week, but if you are desperate, maybe take a chance on Jamari Thrash. What's the worst you could do? 3 points? I mean, you're gonna lose anyway.
If you're considering it, you're gonna lose anyway. You're probably not in that position anyhow at this stage, but I think you pointed that out. So somebody to look forward to next year, and potentially, with this Tillman injury and him getting back to full strength. Let's keep our eye out for Jamari Thrash. I like it. Now, let's move on to the Bengals and Titans. And Tony Pollard didn't practice, hasn't practiced to start the week. He had limited fashion today, actually. So he's pushing to play. He's got a questionable tag headed into the weekend. He's struggled with injuries, but that did not practice earlier this week, raises some doubts about his availability this week. Is it time to pivot onto somebody else? I know that you're not very high on him this week. You don't like him versus the Bengals. You mentioned him as one of your sits of the week regardless. Is that because maybe that injury, or that's just the matchup in general?
The injury has nothing to do with it. I hate the matchup. And for those of you loyal watchers who watched our waiver wire or our start and sit show, were with us on Points After Thursday. Maybe watch us on other platforms or whatever. I've been hammering the sit Tony Pollard thing all week. I can't say that an injury justifies my call, but hopefully you've been listening and trying to make other arrangements, because then, this isn't going to be that impactful for you.
Okay. There you go. You know what? I picked up Tony Pollard in a couple of leagues a couple of weeks ago, just because I liked his rest of the season schedule, and this was one of the games I did like. So it kind of surprises me that you're so against it, and I think this could be an opportunity. So I'm a little bit less bearish on them this week, but yeah, you definitely raised my concern here. So I'm definitely treading carefully with my Tony Pollard, and I'm thinking about starting maybe a Devontae Adams over him in a flex spot.
Sometimes those rest of season schedules, if you're trying to project out 4 or 5 weeks and they're all green, sometimes those can be wolves in sheep's clothing. But I really don't like Tyjae Spears now either. so Tyjae Spears might have a little bit more upside in this game just because of his receiving ability. I don't know. I haven't looked at the numbers to be saying this. I'm kind of saying it out of my butt. But I just don't like the running back situation for Tennessee against Cincinnati. I think they're not going to be able to use the run game a whole lot. So.
Because they're going to be up so early and often, and I get that as well. So I mean, if they do end up playing this game a bit tighter, then we might see a Tony Pollard game, but it's going to have to, the Titans aren't playing very good football right now, so I can't see that happening. So yeah, good call on that, Big. So I'm going to talk about Evan Engram, who now has a season-ending surgery to repair a torn labrum. Man, the Jags just can't catch a break. Obviously, they're, in the race for that number 1 overall pick, but they did win last week. So that kind of just deflates them a little bit here. So what are we doing with our Jags now? I mean, they've in a tough spot here, Biggs. Evan Engram, week 1 of the fantasy playoffs. A lot of guys that had him were holding on. You've probably been streaming for most of the year anyway, so there might have been somebody else around on your squad that you could probably float in there. But do you got any late round gems or guys that might be on the wire for somebody looking to replace Engram last minute with nothing back on the slate?
Well, if we remember back, Evan Engram didn't start the season playing, and Brenton Strange filled in with him. He had 6 targets in week 2. He had 5 targets in week 4. And both of those weeks, he finished as a top 10 tight end. He's kind of kept it going. He's been a part of the plan over the last couple months, even with Engram back. He actually has a 10-point finish, a 12-point finish. That's the kind of floor that you're looking at. And when you're really taking a chance on a tight end, that's about all you can expect off the waiver wire. Not a lot of people have teams like my draft night out team where I have Brock Bowers, Jonnu Smith, and Trey McBride, and I use 2 tight ends in the flex spot instead of a running back or a wide receiver. That's a very unique situation. Ow, I just sprained my shoulder patting myself on the back. But when we look at tight end, Juwan Johnson, he might be on the waiver wire. The receiving core in New Orleans is decimated. Grant Calcaterra, if Dallas Goedert is out, I've been calling Grant Calcaterra's season on our shows, and he got into the end zone last week. Daniel Bellinger is a sneaky one. He can get in there without a Theo Johnson in New York. Then you got Brenton Strange. Chigo Okonkwo would be my number 1 fill-in for Evan Engram. He is very spotty. He's very inconsistent, but we have seen him spike big time, and he only has 1 14-point game this year, and he only had 3.8 points against Jacksonville. But if you're looking for a touchdown-dependent play, this could be a shootout. Well, this could be a large passing volume game for Tennessee, and with Pollard out, it's gonna create an even bigger passing environment, and Chigo Okonkwo could be a beneficiary of that. Again, if you're desperate.
Yeah, if you're desperate, and I mentioned in our waiver wire show this week, Pat Freiermuth was available in 60% of ESPN leagues at the time, so I'm sure that it's gone up by now. But if he's still out there, George Pickens isn't playing again, so we'll get into George Pickens as well. But Pat Freiermuth is a guy that you may want to circle here. Had a touchdown last week, getting involved, has that steady production with Russell Wilson now. So now, Biggs, George Pickens.
I got another one real quick.
Yep.
Michael Mayer. We know that Brock Bowers is the alpha in the Las Vegas Raiders room, but Michael Mayer was co-leader in targets last week over Brock Bowers. Not saying that's going to happen again, but they're playing Atlanta. Atlanta is bottom 10 in allowing points to tight ends, and it could be a situation where Aiden O'Connell finds Michael Mayer and Brock Bowers for 10 targets apiece. Michael Mayer was the second best tight end of the last 5 years in college football behind Brock Bowers. So he could be a play too. Sorry. George Pickens.
You know what? Let's stay on that one game because we have the Jets to go over as well in the what game we're talking about? The Jags and Jets game here. So Breece Hall didn't practice again. Yeah. Super unlikely he's going to play. It's not surprising here that he may sit out another one, but what does that mean for fantasy owners? Who are you liking this week, Biggs? Do you like Davis or Allen, or are both viable options this week if Breece Hall isn't around?
Well, I can tell that you were very busy yesterday with all the Twitter news and everything because Breece Hall is going to play. And if Breece Hall plays, you have to put him in your lineup.
Okay, so you're sure he's playing? Because when I Googled him last, it was he's trending downward. So we'll have to keep an eye on that one. But
the last quote from the Jets was they're hopeful.
We're all hopeful.
Right, but let me find the quote. And this was yesterday, remember. Oh, come on. Dead air. Everybody loves dead air.
Yeah, well, they do expect him back. Looking promising. All right. So
yeah.
So he's looking promising like he's going to play. So there you go. All right. So but if he doesn't, what's your thoughts?
Oh, then you play Isaiah Davis.
Okay, over Braylon Allen.
I think so, yeah. I think you're looking at passing volume upside and end zone upside, because if we remember back to what Braylon Allen was doing when he was with Breece Hall, he was the spell back and he was catching a lot of passes and he was finding the end zone. Isaiah Davis played that role to Braylon Allen last week, and Braylon Allen is going to be the hammer between the tackles guy, and Isaiah Davis is going to have the open field stuff, the little swing passes, etc., and could possibly break stuff open.
Okay. All right, man. Look at the Bird Shop store code at the bottom, FSAN30 to get 30% off of the Fantasy Sports Advice Network shop. What's another place, Biggs, where we can find some of our great community?
FantasySportsAdvice.com.
Let's hear about it.
We are here. FantasySportsAdvice.com, offering the best fantasy sports social media platform. Why join endless Discord communities or the trolls of Reddit? Fantasy Sports Advice is a community designed to help you win with 24/7 support. Go to FantasySportsAdvice.com and become a pro member for unlimited access. Again, go to FantasySportsAdvice.com today.
Did he say the turtles of Reddit?
Yes. No, the trolls of Reddit.
Oh, okay. I was like, what are the turtles of Reddit?
I want to hear about it. It sounds like
I love turtles.
Me too. Yeah. And of Reddit, who knows? All right. So the Giants and Ravens, not much to report here. Obviously, Drew Lock didn't practice this week, and it looks like Tommy DeVito is expected to start. Does that make a difference for you at all in this situation, Biggs?
No.
All right, there you go. Okay, it doesn't make a difference for the playmakers there at all. They're up against the Ravens, who I think are going to just have their way with them. So we'll have to see what happens there. Now, Jalen Coker, full practice, trending towards playing, and with Adam Thielen surging as the top target for the Panthers, how do you see Coker's return impacting Thielen's fantasy value? Could Coker's presence take away some of that target share, or will Thielen remain the focal point of that Jags offense right now?
Thielen's not the focal point of the Jags offense. Jalen Coker is the focal point of the Jags offense. And the only reason that Thielen had the surge that he did was because Jalen Coker has been out. Jalen Coker necessitated the Deontay Johnson trade. Jalen Coker necessitated the Jonathan Mingo trade. They literally ran wide receivers out of town to give Jalen Coker more playing time. I like Adam Thielen. He's a great story. He's 2 years ago Cooper Kupp. How do I want to say that? He is Cooper Kupp's future. Right now he is Cooper Kupp's future. That's what Cooper Kupp is going to turn into. He's going to be a spot play when the number one wide receiver on the team is not in the game. And so, yeah, I like Jalen Coker a ton in this game.
I like them both, and I think Adam Thielen's a really strong play this week too, and I have no problem starting him either. So yeah, let's see what happens here in Carolina. It's things are changing there, and they're looking a little bit better. So yeah, I like what I see there, especially for our Bryce Young shares that we have that we were holding on to here. So
as long as everybody at the bottom but the Raiders win, I'm happy.
There you go. All right, let's talk about the Saints. Derek Carr didn't practice. He's expected to miss. Alvin Kamara had an illness, looking like he'll play, and Jawan Johnson was limited yesterday. I'm not sure exactly how his practice situation was for Friday, but not looking great at all for these Saints. Tough situation. The injury bug hit them pretty hard this year. Their starting lineup is not there right now at all. So other than Kamara, essentially, what do you got to say about that? Anything at all? Are we just avoiding that fantasy team in general?
I'm trying to figure out how to work in F, Marry, Kill. Jake Haener, Kendre Miller, and Foster Moreau. Those are if Kamara should be good. And then Jake Haener is probably not somebody that you want to play. Foster Moreau is, he's nothing but a hope and a prayer. But Kendre Miller could help in a deep flex situation for you.
Yeah, I think so too. So if you're desperate, get on the Kendre Miller train. Biggs told you to pick him up a week and a half ago on our waiver wire show then. So he definitely got in the paint last week, and I could see it happening again here against Commanders team here. So George Pickens out. Can you trust anyone this week? Like I said earlier, I'm thinking Freiermuth might play out a role. He could be an option this week. Anybody outside of that there, Biggs, that you're willing to kind of...
Is that a J?
J? Jefferson. Van Jefferson? You're scratching out old wounds.
I know. It's going to be a defensive game, but Russ chucks, and so there could be some upside. There could be an upside play from Van Jefferson, who got a touchdown last week. They're gonna try and control the ball with the running game. That's just what they do. And Russell Wilson is going to be like trying to get the ball downfield. It's hard to handicap. They legit won a game last week without George Pickens, so you never know.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on Mike Williams then? He's a deep threat. That could he play into this one at all?
He had one game, and then he's done absolutely nothing, even with Pickens out last week. So I would pivot somewhere else.
Yeah. Okay. Kenneth Walker not practicing again. He is struggling to find the field, and is Jacques Charbonnet an auto start for you this week? And where do you have him ranked if Walker misses?
He is an absolute must start, Zach Charbonnet, and I am moving him up my rankings to number 6.
Number 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
That's
my
pretty good.
RB6. I have him behind Henry, Barkley, Bijan, and Mixon.
I got him behind Chase Brown as well, and Josh Jacobs, and that's it.
With my bottom 5, Jacobs, Williams, Chase, and Jameer, like you're splitting hairs at that point.
Mhm.
But I love what this team does with Zach Charbonnet on the field, especially when Kenneth Walker doesn't play.
Awesome, man. Josh Downs back to practice after missing some time with Anthony Richardson. What do you see the situation going down here? They've created a little bit of chemistry here. It doesn't matter who's throwing Josh Downs the ball. What are your thoughts here with Josh Downs moving forward? Is he just coming off the bye, coming off that injury? Are you just automatically starting him where you can?
It's kind of funny that you're even asking me this question because you know that I think Josh Downs is a must start in every game.
Okay, every game.
Every game that he's healthy, and he's healthy.
Okay, yeah, and coming off an injury, you're not worried about that at all.
No.
In a game against the Denver Broncos, they're a tough pass defense and stuff. So I was just seeing, where your stance is there.
It's Josh Downs, baby. I even popped Alec Pierce into a couple lineups today.
That's why we're wearing, our homeboy Brian's colors right now.
Colts blue.
The Colts blue. Shout out to Brian and his Colts and Josh Downs. Let's go. All right, folks. That's it for us on the injury show for week 15. Hopefully you got some valuable information here to help you through the weekend. And, hopefully we'll see you again next week as you continue to build your championship.
Watch Breakfast with Biggs on Sunday morning at 8 a.m. right here on Fantasy Football Advice Network. Then that's followed by Spilled Coffee with the group. And hang out, starts and sits, Breakfast with Biggs.
Let's go. Enjoy the weekend, folks, and be sure to like and subscribe and check out the Fantasy Sports Advice Network website. Let's go. Hope you win, folks.
Hope you win.
We are here. FantasySportsAdvice.com, offering the best fantasy sports social media platform. Why join endless Discord communities or the trolls of Reddit? Fantasy Sports Advice is a community designed to help you win with 24/7 support. Go to FantasySportsAdvice.com and become a pro member for unlimited access. Again, go to FantasySportsAdvice.com today.